Greetings and welcome. I am Leah Snell, the Mathematics and Computer Science Program Manager with the Georgia Department of Education. In this presentation, we will discuss elevating the student learning experience through pre-K through 12th grade, learning progressions and pathways. There are 5 key points to elevating the student learning experience in mathematics classrooms. Key point number 1 is preparing students for the present and future. Key point number 2 is the importance of mathematical modeling. Key point number 3 is the importance of data and statistical literacy. Key point number 4 is positive mathematical mindsets and positive mathematical identity. And key point number 5 includes pathways to success. Well, Happy New Year. It is 2023, and there are a number of innovations taking place in the world around us. There are innovations that allow for ride sharing to come directly to your phone, innovations of helicopter rides from one place to another in only a few minutes. We have innovations of artificial intelligence, such as ChatGPT, and artificial intelligences that allow for Waymo to come and pick you up without necessarily a human driver. Lots of innovations happening around us and in the lives of students. So a question is, how do we prepare our learners to engage in a world of innovation? When we talk about learners, we're talking about keeping the focus of all that we do as the center point of students' learning, and also engaging learners in developing positive identity when it comes to learning mathematics. All of the learners and the whole child is the center point of everything that we do. All does mean all. Each also means each. So the goal of programming in mathematics is to ensure that each and every learner gets what they need to have a world of possibilities at their fingertips in their future, and also knowing that we must evolve with the changes for the benefit of the learners. The world in which the learners live is continually evolving. And so therefore, as we prepare them for the future, it's also important for us to evolve with them. Key point number 1 is, how do we prepare students for the present and future? What does that look like? What skills and knowledge will students need to be prepared for the future workforce? In our learning progressions, pre-K through high school, the goal is to prepare them for any opportunity that they would like to pursue without closing any doors in their future. So what skills are needed to meet the demands of future jobs? Problem solving, authentic, real-life, relevant problems to solve, critical strategic thinking and cognitive flexibility, judgment and decision-making, statistical reasoning, creative and innovative mindset, emotional and social intelligence, continuous learning in the workforce, STEM and STEAM programming, and contextual learning in mathematics are all critical skills needed to meet the demands of future jobs. So as we are working towards preparing students for the future, it is necessary to prepare students to take steps to build their foundation towards their future goals and aspirations, ensuring that each learner is a prepared, numerate citizen ready to enter the future workforce with the critical thinking and reasoning skills necessary for success in both local and global workforces. What jobs will exist? Well, 85% of the jobs of today that today's students will be experiencing and doing in 2032 haven't even been invented yet. But what we know from the LinkedIn Corporation is that computer and mathematical occupations account for 20% of the fastest growing occupations. So if the jobs on the rise include computer and mathematical jobs, how do we prepare our learners for what they will see? The impact of most technologies is expected to continue to explode over the future. Big data analytics, climate change, environmental management technologies, and encryption and cybersecurity are expected to be the biggest drivers of future growth. job growth, according to the Future of Jobs report. Technology adoption will remain a key driver of business transformation. And so as we are preparing students in our mathematics classroom, it's important to keep these in mind, and the technology innovations and the abilities for students to develop cognitive skills that will be increasingly important for the complex problem-solving workplace that our students will enter. And so it'll be critical for us to help students develop the skills necessary to meet the demands of future jobs. Digital literacy and computational thinking is also an important part of what we do and should do in K-12 education to prepare students for the rise of technology innovation and technology disruption that students see around them. There are some critical foundational components of a solid mathematical programming that all students should experience, because technology and the rest of the world are advancing at such a rapid rate. But there are some fundamental principles that all students should be able to develop as they're engaging in their mathematics teaching and learning experiences. We know that all jobs of the future will require some level of mathematical reasoning and application, and also data analysis and statistical reasoning and comprehension. So our work, as we talk about supporting students as they engage in understanding the math concepts that we're teaching in our classrooms, is to help make mathematics make sense in context. Procedural fluency balanced with conceptual understanding brings that sweet spot of comprehension, but also to truly prepare them for the jobs of the future, we have this contextual learning and application that overlays all of that work. So mathematical modeling is critical, looking at student behaviors and productive mathematical behaviors, real life phenomena as a focus are essential as we build our mathematics programming to support students to prepare for the future. Key point number 2 is the importance of mathematical modeling. As we were just discussing, there are multiple shifts that are happening in terms of job market and preparing students for the future. So mathematical modeling is increasingly important. Students in classes should know why they're learning what they're learning. And students should be engaged in learning mathematics that make the experience fun and relevant for them. In Georgia, there's a mathematical modeling framework that really drives the implementation of the standards within the state. And this mathematical modeling framework, as students are engaging in the framework, they are developing critical thinking skills, communication skills, effective collaboration abilities, as well as creative problem solving. So it is encouraged that as students are engaging in understanding the mathematics and engaging in learning the mathematics, that we develop frameworks for which students can actually process and engage in problem solving with problems that are truly worth solving, problems that are relevant to their real lives, and also using mathematics as a tool to explain real phenomena. Interdisciplinary connections are also critical and important for all grade levels, all courses. Having students learn mathematics content aligned to workforce needs based on industry input, also developing employability skills, and also really inspiring future innovation and allowing for teachers to have the ability to integrate multiple content areas and disciplines together. In Georgia, there's also interdisciplinary approaches to teaching and learning, where mathematics content is actually taught in concert with other content areas, and the ability for students to engage in interdisciplinary challenges provides a deeper, rich experience for students. There's also an important alignment necessary as districts and leaders are making decisions about instructional resources for students. It's important to keep primary areas of focus in mind, such as resources should be aligned to what the expectations are that are set forth within each state. Also, instructional resources should really focus on bringing the real life experiences to the student's front door to allow students to understand why they are engaged in the mathematics content that they are engaged in, why they are learning what they are learning. Key point number 3 is the importance of data and statistical literacy. As we talk about innovations with computational thinking and innovations with big data analytics that are happening in all cross sectors of job markets and workforce, it's important for students to actually think statistically. Having students engage in a statistical process of problem solving where they're asking statistical investigative questions, even as early as pre-K and kindergarten. They're collecting relevant data. They are analyzing it, making sense of it, interpreting it to ultimately answer the statistical questions. Students as early as pre-K and kindergarten can ask questions at their age and developmentally appropriate level to begin thinking statistically, essentially looking at when there is a question where there's variability and you want to find out more information about it. There are interesting questions that students should begin engaging in early on in their progression K-12. Key point number 4 is critical because positive mathematical mindsets is essential to all the work that students do and having a positive mathematical identity. What's important to note is that all students come to the table with some level of understanding. Positive mathematical identity really drives how students engage and think about their role in understanding mathematics. It's important for each and every student to believe that they are, quote, a math person, that they are able to engage in mathematics at high levels, and that as educators, we are approaching support for students from an asset-based mindset, not a deficit mindset. Looking at what students are bringing to the table and then taking it from there to support them. Scaffolds and support are necessary for each and every learner at some point. And so being ready and braced to provide the necessary scaffolds and support is also critical as students are progressing. Everyone is a mathematics person. If you do in math in any way, whether it's from spending or looking at adding and subtracting in any way, or any type of mathematics experience, even observing the world around you that is mathematical, and you're a person, then you're a mathematics person. Across the nation and in many conversations you hear, not everyone believes that they are a math person, but to support students to move in the direction of full success, it's important for them to have a positive mathematical identity and for them to believe that they can excel in mathematics. And all the adult language around that is critical for it to support students building positive identity when it comes to their connection to mathematics. Additionally, partnerships are critical. When we talk about preparing students for industry and workforce needs, having partnerships with industry and with businesses and with higher education and with support networks, with community and stakeholders, in order for us to come together in order to make sure that students receive exactly what they need to truly prepare for their future, it's important for all of us to work together in that regard. Mathematics is really fun. It shows lots of connections, and it should be engaging because of the true beauty that exists with mathematics being the language of the universe. It's important for students to actually experience that. Yes, it requires a lot of deep thinking. We know, though, that student engagement is higher when students are able to think and reason and problem solve, innovate with tools such as AI in the classroom or other technology tools. But when students are able to think and reason, they are engaged in the learning process. So the idea of having worksheets in isolation, not really understanding why you're studying what you're studying. Of course, having the mathematics representations are critical, but when it's tied to context and tied to solving real problems, tied to hands-on learning with mathematics presented in context of real life phenomena, light bulbs from early on all the way through entering into the post-secondary world, students really engage with knowing that they are solving problems that are connected to something real, something relevant to support their understanding. Mathematics learning experiences and pathways should really pique students' natural curiosity. As humans, we're all naturally curious. And so as we talk about the shift that really the pandemic provided an opportunity for us to truly be reflective, to see what were our mathematics experiences, how do we continue to enhance those? How do we continue to move into the future to prepare students for the ever-evolving future workforce? Well, one way is to pique their natural curiosity, get them curious, and also engage them in several key elements of a productive classroom and a highly functional classroom, like engaging in discourse. Productive classroom discourse is essential. Having students work together, talk about different strategies. Hands-on tools are also important to engage in deep mathematical thinking. So engaging students in showing what it looks like at the high school level, at the middle school level, and also at the elementary level. Time should be focused on making sense of the mathematics, reasoning and sense making in the classroom, where the reasoning process may be messy. The students may make mistakes along the way. However, engaging in this process of making sense is the reward that supports students with long-term understanding. So generating classroom activities and environments where students are actually engaged in making sense to build deep mathematical understanding. Also, students learn better together. There is a place for independent thinking, independent reflection. In the messiness of learning and in the messiness of making sense, sometimes it's also important for students to do that together and to make sense of the concepts throughout the progression K-12. Additionally, significant time really should be built on comprehension in mathematics. For a long time, we have focused in various regions on comprehension in reading and making sure that students have built and developed comprehension abilities when it comes to understanding the written word. However, in mathematics, it's equally as important to ensure that comprehension is the focus. So comprehension abilities is critical in the progression. And then understanding mathematics connected to real life phenomena is very, very rewarding for all learners and adults as well. And so the more that we can transform math classrooms to really focus on students getting messy with the thought process, the thinking, the making sense, the better off the students will be. Students should be provided the opportunity to work towards a solution to a real problem, to engage and make sense of the content at hand. Technology innovations also advance student learning. And so allowing for students to reason and make sense, allowing the computer in some ways to provide the aid with the reasoning and sense making. In this example, it's showing a student that's making sense of three-dimensional figures and actually drawing it, allowing something that can't necessarily be done by drawing it on paper, you can do on the computer, where they can see rotational details and make sense of the mathematics. Additionally, an investment in our teachers. Professional learning and collaborative opportunities are also essential. As teachers are engaging and understanding the content, it allows for the learning experiences with the collaborative tasks and activities that students are engaged in to be implemented at a much stronger level. And so the investment in teachers is also the investment in students as well. And then key point number 5 is about making sure that there are pathways to success where they are completely open and flexible for students to engage in. So again, the promotion of the use of mathematical reasoning and sense making mathematics learning fun also applies elementary, middle, and secondary. There are some mathematical practice components and also habits of mind that students should engage in, which includes perseverance and patience, but having problems that are worth solving. It includes helping students build critical thinking skills and reasoning skills, effective collaboration and expression, the teacher providing feedback, students providing feedback, and students responding to each other's feedback as well as the feedback of the more knowledgeable other. And then also goal setting. This particular standard is the first standard for all grade levels and course. It's an overarching standard that exists in Georgia that really helps to focus in on the skills and strategies that students need that also build upon the 8 practices as well. And so additionally, there's a 4-step instructional design, 4-part instructional design that the Georgia Department of Education utilizes throughout K-12 for the progression of learning in all grade levels. And that includes engage, explore, apply, and reflect. It's a modified version for mathematics of the 5E model that learning plans are developed around. Essential to supporting effective teaching and learning is providing resources and supports for teachers that actually show them how to engage in mathematical modeling, how to build statistical literacy and data literacy, how to engage in hands-on activities, and how to engage students in rich, deep mathematical understanding. So to support teachers in Georgia, we have developed resources for every grade level, every unit of study, every standard, where we have synthesized the standards to have fewer than 10 content standards in each grade level in course K-12, and focused all of the resources around this 4-part instructional design to show teachers how to actually engage in evidence-based practices in mathematics. There are post-secondary opportunities, and preparedness is a focus K-12. And so what's essential is providing open access for all pathways. D-tracking should be something that all states and all schools consider across the nation, because pathways should be driven by student interest. Pathways should be driven by what students are planning to pursue, and as they are continuing to learn themselves and continuing to learn about future opportunities, it's important for us to not close any doors for any students. All pathways should prepare students for any path that they choose, allowing for support and enhancement throughout the process. And there should be multiple options throughout all the states, throughout all the opportunities that students are being provided with, based on their future goals that they get to own, based on their future aspirations, based on their areas of interest. So as leaders, it's important for us to create policy and programming that does not close any doors for any courses that students are interested in taking. Additionally, the pathway should provide an opportunity for students to access content at even the highest level, but also the highest level based on their interests, based on their needs. So in Georgia, we have pathways where there are 4 required math courses, 3 that are specifically outlined. So there's an algebra concepts and connections course where students can actually choose to earn that credit in grade 8. After grade 7, students can take an enhanced algebra concepts and connections course and earn high school credit. And then they can take a geometry course, and then an advanced algebra course or enhanced advanced algebra that embeds the AP pre-calculus. So as students are engaging and learning the concepts, Each of these courses include a blend of algebra content and geometry content and statistical literacy and statistical reasoning content in preparation for any fourth course option that they would like to pursue, in any pathway that they would like to pursue as the fourth option that they have. So students can pursue computer science and computer programming, or statistical reasoning and data literacy. Students can pursue courses that are specific to their areas of interest that are all beyond the content in advanced algebra, such as a advanced financial algebra course, a course on college readiness, mathematics of industry and government options. Students can also actually take computer science courses or dual enrollment courses that would count for that. Students who are interested in going beyond and taking advanced level calculus classes, if they so desire, all students have equal opportunity to do that. No doors are closed for them at any point K-12. And so students have the opportunity to enroll in enhanced versions of courses in order to access college level calculus classes as a senior in high school. So there are multiple different paths and access points. And what's so important to this model is personalized, customized based on students' interests. So students have the opportunity to have open access to any particular course. And the progressions within the courses are really showing the interconnectedness, where mathematics is telling a story and it's organized to show the progression under the key competency for each grade level, where there are 10 or fewer competencies essentially for each grade level and course. And the mathematics provides open access for students to continue further study and see the interconnectedness between and among courses. There's also a focus on strategic mathematical thinking, where in the early grades, students are able to build strategy-based reasoning, where they're looking at part-whole thinking and flexibility in their thinking as they engage, so that when they are continuing to add on to the numeracy development that they are engaged in, they are continuing to work towards success, and also have preparedness for any pathway that they choose at the secondary level. There's a progression of numeracy that focuses on starting with counting, but then also going into part-whole reasoning that applies across grade levels and into other big ideas of content as well, ultimately helping develop strategic thinkers as they progress through the path of counting strategies to part-whole thinking. In general, there are equal opportunity for all students, and we strongly encourage that in all paths and all programming, that there is a focus on preparedness for any choice that they have, unique college and career goals. With all the opportunities being equal, students have the flexibility and the opportunity to access any of the course pathways that they desire, and no doors are ever closed for any student. According to the National Academies of Sciences, I will close by sharing that they have done a lot of research around the advancements and advances in artificial intelligence and how mathematical sciences are responsible for some of these advancements. In weather forecasting, cybersecurity, manufacturing, there is a future look at how the mathematics allows for innovations to continue. The mathematics is the language that helps to explain some of the innovations. There are connections that exist to our daily lives in all of the scientific phenomena. And so it's important for us as we are building programming to make sure students actually see these connections as well. And so according to the National Academies, math is actually the hero. So we want to continue to position the field of mathematics in its rightful place as being the hero in our pre-K through 12th grade classrooms. Math predicts, math invents, math is responsible for helping us understand some of the machine communications. Math diagnoses, math heals, math speaks, math protects, math delivers, and math connects us all. And so as we continue to work together, it is important that all of our efforts are focused on the business of fostering critical thinking to prepare students for life in the present and the future. Thank you so much for joining today, and I look forward to continuing to mathematize the world together with you. Yes, thank you so much. Be happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you. And I also referenced resources for Georgia with the 4-part instructional design, and I will place in the chat as well the site that has all of those Georgia resources for any other state that is interested in learning more. And it's called Georgia Inspire. And the site is inspire.gadoe.org. And for all grade levels and courses, that particular site will take you to the resources that are open educational resources for building critical thinking and reasoning for our students K-12. And also the information about the high school pathways is included there as well in the various tabs that are provided. And I hope this helps you. We always love sharing across states. And thank you all so much for engaging today.